And this is our opportunity to ask any question that has come up for you, or feedback that you would like. It can also be something that you would especially like to share that you think will have particular benefit to the other members. But let's start off with questions that you may have, that someone else in this room may have some answers or feedback for you. Great.
My name is Cindy Spring. I'm at the end stage of putting the manuscript together before it gets typeset, and I'm getting all these permissions from publishers, and I have quite a few. So the question is, do I have to put them on the back of the title page where most permissions show up? Because I have 16 of them, can I put them at the back of the book?
Okay, so when you publish a book that has multiple sources and like images and quotes and things like that, and you need to acknowledge them, the two places, as you said, one is on the copyright page, that's a classic place to do it. The other thing that you can do is have an acknowledgement section, and that can be anywhere in the book you want. And then what you do is on the copyright page, you say, copyrights for all quotations. For copyrights for all quotations, see the acknowledgement section, and then you're all set. Any other? Do you have another question?
Yeah. Yeah, my name is Lance Burris. I live in Napa, member of Napa Valley Writers. I've written 4 books, and I haven't tried to publish any of them because I'm also a painter, and as a result, I have a lot of color illustrations in my books. For example, this is the one I'm now. It's called Paint with a Typewriter, Type with a Brush, Exploring Imaginary Worlds of Ray Bradbury through the Art of Illustration. And it has 48 paintings of Martian Chronicles, Fahrenheit 451, The Illustrated Man. And it has essays, it has a tutorial in the back for like high school or community college use, and so on. So I haven't really made a formal effort yet to publish, but the challenge I'm faced with is that all my works have color. So that means that self-publishing, based on my investigation, is kind of out of the question. Because it would probably cost me $20,000 or something to get this thing done.
Well, we definitely have some resources for you and some answers to that question.
Okay.
One person that you should meet here, if she comes today, is Lorna Johnson. Is Lorna Johnson?
I know her.
Yeah, you do? Okay, because she's an expert on printing, offset printing. And it would be very interesting to get from David and others how much color is coming down, if it is, in Ingram, in CreateSpace for Amazon. But I have one book that I printed 3,000 copies of in China for $2.31 a book. And it has beautiful color in it. It's a travel literary book, and I face the same challenge. So I think you want to get maybe a little smaller size, but you can get a color thing done offset. But now, and I've got 500 copies left of the 3,000 copies. So it's a pretty book that I can sell in pretty places. But I've also now put it in Amazon CreateSpace as a black and white book. So someone in London could order it today and get it tomorrow. And it's not going to be economical for me to ship a physical object around. And I'm in my no shipping mode as life goes on. So some combo like that might even be useful to you. Offset some in color and maybe have it also print on demand for those opportunistic moments when someone in a far-fetched place will want it.
And Lance, my name's David Cutler. I have 2 observations today. One is that if the initial price is the stumbling block, both CreateSpace and Ingram Spark both of them are print on demand. Both of them offer color. My experience is that the offerings and color from Ingram are a little better than the ones from CreateSpace. If I had brought my books,
This is Ingram.
okay, this is Ingram, and the thing about it is, it's not ever going to be as expensive per copy, as cheap per copy as offset printing. However, you don't have to print 5,000 of them to make it worthwhile. You print one. And what you can do is go and look and literally upload the PDF, and they'll give you a quote. They'll say, this is how much it will cost. And then how much will you have to charge in order to make any money at all? And if that becomes exorbitant, yours are not going to be cheap books. To buy, I mean, they aren't going to be cheap even offset, right? So you can look at it as an either or. The third option, which you may not have considered, is the option where color is no more expensive than black and white. It's an ebook. And I know that, you know, that may not have occurred to you, and it may not be something that you're thinking about, but honestly, one of the advantages to ebooks is easy distribution globally, obviously, but also the fact that color is more or less the same price as black and white.
Is that through Amazon?
There are a variety. I mean, Amazon in the English language market sells somewhere between 60 and 80%, depending on who you ask, of the ebooks. But that still leaves 20 to 40% to companies like Apple, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Google Play, and then hundreds of others around the world. Those five, Apple, Kobo, Amazon, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble, are the ones that sell most of the ebooks in North America.
Yeah, one thing, I want to scale this down so that this is a full page, you know, rather than.
You need to, that needs to be typeset before it goes out. This book was printed in Ingram Spark with the color, and a clue on the color, you have to pay for the premium color. There's about 3 choices of the paper and everything, but the premium is necessary for the color. I didn't bring the one that we printed first that looks, you know, just mediocre. This turned out really well. I don't know, I was looking for Sharon. I'm not sure what the...
What's the cover price on the book?
Oh, the cover price is $15.95.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Other input or other questions? They can be completely different. Oh, hey, who's here?
Hi, I'm Carol Hanson-Gray, and I'm a brand new member of BAIPA.
Hey.
Thank you. My husband and I own a small independent publishing company called Open Heart Press that we started in 1996, so we've been around for a little while. Anyway, I wanted to address the color issue because I just published a book that's all black and white graphics every page. But I do have the color graphics on my computer. And so what I'm doing with that is that I'm going to put a website up that has the color graphics. So you could say in your book, if you want to see, you know, you could print it in black and white, grayscale, but you could have your color graphics on the website so that people could actually see the full input.
And that's actually a great idea. And one of the things that you guys who have been here a bunch of times before have heard me say that an ebook is just a website in a box. That's all it is. It's HTML in a package. So the same goes for distributing an ebook, and for a lot of the, specifically Amazon, okay? You can set it up so that if they buy the print book and you sell them the, print on demand black and white, they can automatically get the ebook for free from Amazon. So you could do both.
One comment? That's a great idea, by the way. Yes.
Thank you very much. It also have a sort of a tutorial in the back. This is an ideal book for classes in high school and community college that have assigned reading in these books because they're classics. And another thought is if I did put it as an ebook, I wonder if the students could actually access it as an ebook and maybe market it that way through an educational outlet. Just a thought.
Yes, that is possible. And because schools are using ebooks also.
Oh, good.
All right, excellent. Other questions that have come up?
I have one more, but I didn't want it.
All right, great.
I'm doing something I should have done a long time ago, which is getting the look inside feature going for my book on Amazon. And it's been a long journey, but early on I emailed the support to see if I could choose which pages appear. I have a very short book for children, and I thought that certain pages would represent it the best, and the person that wrote back said, yes, you can do that, just let us know. And now, after many steps and confusion, I've got another person who's, when we finally got it closer to there, saying, no, you can't do that, you can only say a percentage. And all these people it's hard to communicate with them, but I just wondered if people had experience with this and knew, how I might be able to get it done, or if I can't.
So people with experience with the Amazon preview feature and dealing with customer service people, anyone in the room other than David? David, it's you, dear.
Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is, for most of us, that isn't a problem because we use print on demand, and they automatically take the first 10, 15, 20%, whatever it is, I can't remember what it is. And they just take the opening, what percentage of your book, and they just say, here, read. And to be honest, for most people, that's fine. For a children's picture book, obviously, 10% is 2 pages, 3 pages. So it's a little more problematic. But my memory was, I had to do this very early on when I was first dealing with doing ebooks for Joseph Campbell Foundation back in 2010, in the dark ages. And what they allowed me to do at the time was upload an edited PDF, okay? So that it only included certain pages, and then I said, you can allow, at the time, this was part of the deal. You uploaded it and said how much of a percentage you were willing to let them view. You upload the edited thing, and it's got these pages on it, and you say, show 100%. But I don't know that that's still possible, but that's what I used to be able to do. For print on demand, which is what 95% of the rest of us who do print, or for ebooks, it's automatic. It just does the first 10, 15%. You don't have any say in it at all.
Okay. Other questions?
Someone told me that if you have a colored book, that it costs more space for ebooks, and that you need to go black and white.
That is kind of true, but not exactly. Okay. So basically, the thing you need to know is that the way that images are stored as data, as numbers, is that every dot has a series of pixels, has a series of values, okay? In the case of color, it's 3, red, green, and blue. In the case of grayscale, it's 1. So you'd think that a grayscale image would be a third the size. In my experience working with them, because for those of you who don't know, if you go through Amazon and you publish your ebook through Amazon, they take 15 cents off of every megabyte size for every sale. So the first ebook I uploaded, this is in 2010, was 18 megabytes. And if you figure it out, that was a lot of money. Basically, I was going to end up losing money trying to sell a book. And so what I did first was I turned the images to black and white. And I compressed the heck out of them. Okay? And what I found was that the color images, because there's stuff in the image file other than just dot values, okay? So in fact, it saved about 10 or 15%. So I saved a few pennies by switching from color to black and white. With this book that I'm talking about, it saved $1 or $2, which made a big difference. But for most of us, it won't make any difference at all. And in fact, you are better off doing a good job compressing the image, okay? And if you look on either my site, stillpointdigital.com, or on Joel Friedlander's thebookdesigner.com, and do a search on optimizing images. I have an article on both of those that is a step-by-step. This is how you take a beautiful, fabulous, big image and make it small enough that it doesn't cost you a lot of money on Amazon. Or, even on the others, make the file so big that it's hard to download. Make sense? Does that make sense? But no, switching to grayscale on an ebook is probably not worth the trouble. You're better off compressing the color file.
This is a little unusual. In 1976, I had an epiphany. I saw the other half of the universe. And I started writing at that time, and I wrote for 40 years. And I have a 3-volume work of philosophy that came out of in the process. It's all based in 4-dimensional geometry. So I developed a visual vocabulary so you can look at a picture, you can think in eternity, you can keep track of relative motion, dimensions, and all that. So the images are quite beautiful. And the second volume, the first volume, a copy of it here was more mathematically based. The second one I wrote as a classic dialogue between a Ukrainian woman, biophysicist, and a glass sculptor in a retreat. And so anyway, to get a book of philosophy published when you're not an academic in this publishing climate is quite a challenge, and particularly when you have color pictures throughout. So my joke is, when next time you go to the checkout stand at the grocery store and you see the National Enquirer headline that says real estate developer discovers secret of the universe, you'll know that I published. But anyway, if anybody has any ideas, one thing that I thought about is this crowdsourcing, because some of the people that I've talked to, Carl Jung wrote. Oh, the question really is my default position crowdsourcing on this book, because, as opposed to trying to find some sort of traditional publisher, or is there some fine arts book publisher who would actually take on something like this? Is that
Abrams.
Abrams?
Big owner.
Where are they?
It's a regional publisher.
Well, I'm sorry, what is your name?
Lance.
Okay, Lance. One of the things you might consider is, have you released any of the information from your book anywhere?
I have a website.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Apollonian System.
And how many people usually come to see that? Do many people know about it? That's my first question.
Probably nobody knows about it.
Okay.
I just did it because I did a summary.
Okay, but that was my first question. So basically nobody knows what you've done. What I would suggest you do to see if there is a market for this book at all is to look at some of the different platforms where you can release parts of your book and see, is there a response? Before you go through doing a crowdsourcing campaign, as David can tell you, is pretty intensive. It's a marketing campaign. You have to have a lot of stuff in place. But if you don't even know if there is a market for this book, then you want to find out, are there any people out there? Do you know where your market is? Do you know who your audience is? You might try on LinkedIn or Facebook and just release little pieces of it. Medium is another place you could do that. Medium. It's a blogging platform. But you want to find out before, and Brian's going to talk about this, you want to know before you invest all this time and energy, does anybody even want to read this? And then you can decide if you want to invest in doing a crowdsourcing campaign, because that might work. If you've got people who are really excited and loving this, then that might make sense. So that's my 2 cents.
I can tell you this, that when I talk to people about it, and I'm specific about it, they become very interested. I find out because I'm addressing all those questions that they don't want to ask, and I'm providing an answer. So I think there's an interest, but the question is, when you say something's based in mathematics and people's eyes were.
All right, I think the good news you've heard this morning is that the variable cost of printing is a lot lower than you thought. Crowdsourcing, I doubt would be a good way for you to go, because that upfront cost that tends to drive the desire for crowdsourcing is lower than you thought. And as Judy mentioned, it takes a lot of time. And then when you think about, okay, what are you really offering somebody? I've used a crowdsourcing platform called InkShares, where you have to come up with pre-orders and then they'll put it out under their imprint. Even though I haven't formally changed it, my plan B, because I've realized how much time and effort goes into the crowd effort, and one thing I've learned is that people don't respond really to, oh, if you order now, X months from now you'll be able to get something. People are more likely to buy on impulse. So if you take advantage of that low production cost and then take that energy that you would have put into crowdsourcing, into promoting, and having maybe different ways of making that material available, you'll probably have a lot more success because more people will see it. And you'll get that kinetic energy going.
Hi, my name's Nita, and Rob and I, some of you know us, we're back. Have been working on a book for about 8 years now, and what we found is we didn't have a big enough platform ourselves, but organizations, nonprofit organizations have big platform, sometimes huge platforms, sometimes small platforms, but if you find organizations that are related to your topic, we were going to initially self-publish this book. We now have a California version of it called Beauty and the Beast, California's Wildflowers and Climate Change. We have decided to co-publish with the California Native Plant Society. Well, we're working on the contract right now. And they have 10,000 members. They also have all these chapters where they sell the books. So if you can find organizations or churches or whatever that could be, that's connected to the subject, you don't have to do it on your own.
I tried. I tried to sort of stay away from.
I tried to stay away from sort of new age things, because I think probably that's the best, the easiest route to take because of what they're doing. But again, this is based on mathematics. It's not based on touchy-feely things, you know. So, but I think that's a very good idea. And if you look at things like the red book that was done by Jung, you know, that's done by a foundation, you know. This is what this needs. It needs like a foundation, like somebody like George Lucas or somebody to do this.
Hi, I'm Patricia. There's another type of crowdsourcing, which is patreon.com, and they're based in San Francisco. So you create your page on Patreon and you set up tiers of support, and you have to provide pretty regular content to get people interested in following you there. But they can commit to you $1 a month every single month, or up to whatever, you choose the levels. And you have to know what you're going to offer them. You have to tell them what you're offering them. Go to the website, read it all over, but the money will trickle in slowly and steadily, but it is a way to get more and more people to see and read what you have to say or view what you have to present visually. And you can follow and support other people and presumably encourage them to follow you back. It's patreon.com.
Okay, we have a new topic. Can we shift over to a new topic?
I just had something quick to say about the crowdfunding thing. Just to back up on what Carl here said. Oops. When you think about crowdfunding, it's easy to think of it as okay, this is going to be how I'm going to make a whole bunch of money that will take away my risk. And that's not really what I've found. I've done 3 Kickstarter campaigns and also Patreon. And what I've found for me is that essentially what it ends up being is launch marketing. That it's most effective when you do the crowdsourcing campaign a couple of months before the book is published. Because otherwise what ends up happening is exactly what Judy was saying, which is, and I think Carl as well, that people don't feel like there's an immediate enough payoff. And so they're not going to say, yes, you can have my $30 or $50 or $100 for next year, because then they get grumpy.
I was about to move on to another question here, so we may be able to come back to it, but let's go ahead.
I have a publicity type question. My name is Robert W. Bone. I published my book, Firebone, 3 years ago with the help of BAIPA. And I'm quite happy with the way the book came out. But the problem is still getting enough publicity. And several questions around that. But one of the ones that people have told me recently, and I just sure it's not really true exactly, but maybe there's something to it. I'm on Amazon, of course, and I've had good reviews on Amazon. But people tell me that if you get 50 reviews on Amazon, then they go into a different emphasis in terms of publicity. They do a lot of other things, so provided you get 50 reviews. I have 39 now. I haven't, and they're all positive. But do I really need 50 reviews for Amazon to increase my publicity?
If there's anybody other than me that has an answer to that, because I do, but I'd love to hear somebody else's voice.
It's actually higher than 50. Well, only because there are so many books out there. But one of the ways you could encourage that is you know that more reviews will get you higher visibility. It's really 100 to 200. However, you want to give away some books and say, I will give you a book in return for giving me an honest review. Not a good review, an honest review. Most of us don't think about, oh, I need to give my books away in order to get more visibility. It's a good investment. It is a really good investment. And if you have it in a digital format, some people will say that's cool. Some people would want a physical book. Give more of your books away.
What about the fact that Amazon will only count a review as somebody bought your book? Isn't that?
They will count it. they will put the verified reviews above all of the non-verified reviews on the list when you look at them, but in terms of the numbers at the top, 4.37 out of 5, that doesn't count whether they are or not. However, I did discover there is, in terms of the language that the reviewer uses, saying the publisher gave me this in exchange for an honest review, will now get the review bumped, because that's seen as payola. Okay? So the language is something, and I'm remembering this wrong, is something along the lines of, I received this from the publisher, gratis. I am sharing my honest review with no regard to what they gave me. It's better than that. It's shorter and more pithy, but basically they have to say, I got this for free, however, that doesn't affect my review,
Yeah.
which is probably about what it said.
Yeah, maybe we should look for that and get it up on our website.
In terms of getting reviews, just a little reminder, if anyone emails you or in any way talks to you and says, God, I love your book, make a point of saying to them, thank you so much, I'm so glad you did, I hope you tell everybody, and please post a review on Amazon. You might even in your email, include the link to your book page and a little explanation about how to leave a review on Amazon. You can say things like, it doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be scholarly, just whatever your thoughts are. They've already said they like it, right? That's the person you want to leave a review. So just get in the habit of, if someone says they like it, ask them to leave a review.
Okay, this question is about finding bloggers. I'm in the Association of Ghostwriters, which is having a 30-day challenge, and one of the things they challenged us to do is to find bloggers. So I'm looking for, because I do books on self-publishing and writing, I'm looking for bloggers that deal with books and writers and authors, and I wondered if people have suggestions on how I can find bloggers, and if there's any kind of directory of bloggers by category.
There are. Have you tried Googling that?
Oh, I did. I got a whole list of things, and I wasn't sure where to go.
Okay. Okay, Nina.
Well, I have a loud enough voice. Go ahead. Joel Freelander not only does a lot of blogging, but he has a lot of guest bloggers in that whole area of book publishing. Okay.
There are two that I've used. One is called Blog Top List, and that lists blogs by category. You can sort those, and it shows the number of people in that blog. So Blog Top List, L-I-S-T. Make sure that you think L-I-S-T, because one time I was speaking, I talked about Blog Top List. Somebody thought it was Blog Top List. I had to repeat it, so it was Top List. Yeah. And the other is Technorati. I think those are two that list blogs. You can sort those by
Can you spell the Technorati?
Technarati. I think so.
I just want to make an observation and I have a question. So I was at the SMX show in New York City last week, and that's a show on search engine optimization. And one of the interesting things there was Amazon had a huge presence from their advertising team. And so I went to a presentation from Amazon on advertising, and Amazon's over $1 billion in revenue now from advertising, and they're rolling out new advertising products. And I'm starting to see on my book titles the ads in the long horizontal frame across the screen, which is new, and I haven't really experimented with that yet. And the second thing that came out of that presentation is they're relaunching stores on Amazon, and Neil deGrasse Tyson is their beta person. So if you Google Neil deGrasse Tyson Amazon store, you'll see he has sort of an author store on Amazon now, which is really interesting. So I don't know if Author Central will start to allow certain authors to have not just the author's profile that we have now, but to have kind of your own store, and then they're clearly aggressively changing the way they're doing advertising. So that was really interesting to see Amazon at the show talking about. I think they've realized there's so much money involved in advertising on Amazon that they're very keen for that. So that's my observation as an Amazon watcher. And then here's my question. So I have books that are nonfiction, and I have new editions every year, and I compete against other people in my nefarious industry, and they have succeeded in changing their publication date and yet retaining their reviews. So for instance, they'll come out with their 2018 edition, and then their publication date will say, you know, October 2017, but they'll retain the reviews. Now when I've tried to do this, I've uploaded a new version of my books, asked Amazon to link the reviews, and sometimes they link the reviews and they keep the reviews, but sometimes they detach all of my reviews, and so I start over with my review count. So then they told me, well, just the post subtitle, you know, my book is the Social Media Marketing Workbook, colon, 2018 edition, and they said, well, you can change everything after the colon, but you cannot change your publication date. But my competitors have changed their publication date and retained their reviews. So now I have over 500 reviews of my books. I don't want to lose my review count because they're like 200. But I'm, you know, and so I don't know if any Amazon experts have some magic on this switching your publication date and yet retaining your reviews.
Other than doing what you've done, which is talking to customer service, did you talk to customer service through KDP or through Author Central?
I've done through CreateSpace and I've done through Author Central. CreateSpace was a little bit more helpful.
Yeah.
And Author Central was, it seems to be no pattern as to whether they'll retain the reviews or not. Sometimes they kill them, sometimes they retain them.
I would go back and talk to Author Central again. That usually is the place where they link the reviews. That's the people you want to talk to.
But do you know about, is there a policy?
No!
Yeah.
The policy is if it's a new edition, you get 3 reviews. So I have a question for you. The competitor who came out with a new edition and they updated the pub date but kept the reviews?
Yes.
Is that a traditional publisher, 10 Speed Press or something?
No,
or
it's
is it
KDP. It's CreateSpace and KDP.
I was trying to reach the author.
Yeah, well.
He's not going to help me.
If no one
That's fine. We help each other. We help each other. You're not trying to take his reviews.
Sorry?
Beginning to laugh.
Yes. Well, you either lose reviews or you keep the old pub date. One of the
That's
other.
what I was told, yeah, and that's what I've experienced, but that's not what this is.
I'm guessing that if you find the right person on Author Central, they'll say, oh yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, until you find that person.
And who was the name of the person you mentioned earlier? Who was the name of the person?
If you just go into Amazon and put in SEO, you'll see his book often ahead of mine.
Oh.
And he has like 200 and some reviews, and he has a new publication date.
I just wanted to reiterate what David just said about if you find the right person in customer service. I don't know, I mean, my experience, I've had a lot of experience with Amazon customer service. I'm using Seller Central instead of Author Central. But what I find is what one person tells me is not necessarily the real policy. Asking another person, I might get a totally different answer and a different result. Also, it has been my experience, I don't know if this is really true, but I think if I call early in the morning, California time, I'm more likely to get someone who actually is a native English speaker. Although that seems to have been tapering off in the last, I don't know, months or year. And another technique, of course, is if you can't figure it out with that person, or even can't understand them, ask to talk to another person, or ask to talk to their supervisor. Sometimes you have to escalate a problem to get it solved.
Oh, this is an embarrassing question. So here's my beautiful new novel, and last night I'm looking at the back cover, and mind you, I am a detail person, and the main character's name is Carolina, and also on the back cover it says Carolyn. I have 125 copies printed of this book. Do I trash them? Do I give them away? What do I do? It's so embarrassing to me to sell it with this error.
Many people will notice it.
People are not gonna turn to the back copy after the back cover after they read the book.
Valium will fix this.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, or a glass of wine.
You might also use them as an opportunity to, letting people know, I discovered an error. And so, so just acknowledge it, and then maybe use it to help get reviews, or to, as gifts, as way to, don't just throw them away. I think there's an opportunity there. Look at the
Collector's item.
could be a collector's item, exactly. But I think also if you just in however you choose to use it, if you acknowledge, the error, we all make mistakes. So, no one's gonna like beat you up for that. But use it as an opportunity, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Give people a reward if they discover the error.
My advice is to bury it and forget about it, and be thankful that you only got 125 copies and not 5,000 copies. And when there's a problem, the best thing to do is to just move on and overwhelm it with your good news. Like on Amazon once, someone did a review of my book, Howler's Guide to San Francisco, and they smashed the book, and they made 5 errors in their review about factual things in San Francisco. And I contacted Amazon, and I said, this person just had a bad day or something, and they smashed the book, but there were these 5 errors right in their one paragraph. And Amazon said, just forget about it. Get good reviews. Move on. And so I would just, other people are not going to notice this. I would not draw it to their attention to get publicity. Frankly.
So I was going to say, well, first of all, I play a little bit faster and looser with Amazon terms of service than I think most people would. So one thing you might do is you can create a seller account for yourself as a publisher, as an entity. You can put the books up on Amazon against your Amazon title per se, and then you can generate coupon codes for your book. So you can create a coupon code that your book is $30, they get 100% off. You can create free shipping. And then when you send out a review copy, what you can do is don't send the book, send the coupon code through your seller account, and then that will show as a verified review. So you could have a seller account, send a coupon code, they get the book becomes a verified purchase, and then also you have the opportunity to say, this is an author's copy, and by the way, there's a typo on the back cover. So you could kind of acknowledge the fact that there's a back cover. But I don't send out physical copies, I send coupon codes so that my reviews are verified for all of that. Probably all that's a violation of terms of service, but...
That sounds really good. That's smart. All right, sorry, we are actually out of time. This has been an awesome Q and A time. So what's happening next is that we're going to take a 15-minute break to get up, to go see what some of our our member books. Please keep in mind, these are books that are for sale, not for freebies. So, if you see a book you'd like to purchase and you don't see the author, grab one of us with a white name badge, and we'll help you find that person. Refreshments are over here. We're going to regather right at 10 o'clock, and pass the mic around the room and get a chance to introduce ourselves. We'll each have about 20 seconds to do so.